What's your name?
Hey, hi. I'm Nikki. How are you?
Good, I'm Brian.
Nice to meet you. Do you know anything about Fortaleza?
I don't.
Oh my God. Do you know who Guillermo Salsa is?
No.
So Guillermo Salsa is actually a 5th generation owner of Fortaleza Distillery. He comes from his great-great-grandfather, his grandfather, and he actually learned how to make tequila. And it was so cool. They actually make tequila the old school way. They use the old school tahona where a mule is actually crushing the agave. So not a lot of people know actually how much work goes into making tequila. There's actually men out there cutting down the agaves for hours. They're cutting down hundreds of agaves a day. What you're about to watch is actually going to kind of introduce you to how tequila is made. You're going to see Guillermo Salsa and a couple of our favorite tequilas in there.
Tequila this early on a Sunday morning might make you a little queasy. Because for the most part, our introduction to the Mexican spirit was anything but refined.
Tequila brings out the best and brings out the worst.
For a lot of people, tequila equals a headache in their mind.
Probably the worst one ever. Kind of like I never want to drink tequila again, but luckily we're getting some of those people back. In Highland tequilas, look for...
Through tastings at Tommy's Mexican restaurant in San Francisco, owner Julio Bermejo exposes folks to the finer points of tequila.
100% agave tequila. This is the most expensive distilled spirit in the world.
He carries 350 brands of tequila, a fraction of the more than 1,000 out there.
All tequilas start out the same.
And Bermejo, as you might imagine,
fresh lime, critical.
Makes a mean margarita.
People love the margarita. Say what you want. It's considered the big daddy in the cocktail world, and God bless it.
In the United States, margaritas consistently outpace every other mixed drink in popularity. For many, the quest to find the perfect margarita might take them to their local bar, or if you're lucky, maybe here to Tommy's. But our journey will take us more than 1,800 miles south to Mexico. Where even before dawn, iconic jimadores sharpen their special knives called coas. For generations, they've skillfully sliced off the spiky leaves of the blue agave plant, revealing the heart of it called a piña, which will eventually become tequila.
We control around 26,000 acres.
Wow, 25,000 acres. Compare that to the size of a vineyard.
It's like 10 times as much.
Wow, you need a lot of land to grow this agave.
Yeah,
Ruben Aceves is the brand ambassador for Herradura, the 3rd largest tequila producer in the world. It takes roughly 7 to 10 years for each agave plant to be ready to harvest. It's quite heavy, huh?
It is heavy. Some of them, average weight will be around 120 pounds.
Today, more than 270,000 acres of blue agave have been planted. Just like Scotch must come from Scotland and Champagne from France. To be called tequila, the blue agave must come from this specific region in Mexico. 87% of it is grown in the state of Jalisco. Perhaps the most festive way to see that land is on the Tequila Express, which goes to the Mexican town of Tequila. No designated driver needed. Thomas Gomez is on, what else? A bachelor party.
There's not a city of whiskey, or there's not a city of vodka, but there's a city of tequila, so why not?
By afternoon, riders get the chance to see what they've sampled at distilleries like the 140-year-old Casa Herradura. Here they harvest 180 tons of agave every day. The agave is cooked inside these giant brick ovens. Each oven can hold 40 tons of agave. That's the equivalent of 25 cars. After the agave cools, it's easily pulled apart.
A lot of fructose and glucose content, a lot of sugar.
Like a sweet potato meets sugar cane.
Exactly.
The fibers are then crushed, the juice fermented, and natural yeasts transform the sugars into alcohol. It's kind of bitter. Finally, the liquid is distilled to remove impurities, and Blanco tequila, ready to drink, is produced, while some of it is then aged.
The side of the barrel is pretty much like a sponge. So it contracts and expands. As it does that, the tequila is getting in and out of the wood and stealing flavors.
Reposado or rested tequila must age for at least 60 days, and añejo tequila for at least a year. Despite the economy, sales of high-priced premium tequilas have surged. So artisanal distillers like Guillermo Souza makes his Fortaleza tequila with more attention to detail than dollars, with everything done by hand. Cheers. Cheers. I got to sample some in an old tequila aging cave.
Artisanal and truly artisanal products that use the old methodologies are obviously much more expensive because they're much more labor intensive, but I believe they create a better tasting product.
And taste is what makes the grade at tequila shrines like Tommy's. Julio Bermejo says even the humble margarita deserves to be made with top-shelf tequila, and he's made hundreds of thousands of them.
You know, that plant has to suffer and stress and try to survive for 10 years only to be killed and then realize a new life in a spirit that's very vibrant and alive.
Vibrant and alive indeed, even thousands of miles from its Mexican birthplace.
So Fortaleza is one of our favorite tequilas here at Zocalo. We call it a boutique-style tequila. It's actually a smaller distillery that's sitting behind the Sausa distillery in Tequila, Jalisco. And it's actually a really funny story. The Zocalo managers actually went down there, found Fortaleza, and we were one of the first ones that brought it to Sacramento. No one really had heard of it before then. It's actually one of only 2 distilleries that's using the very traditional method of the tahona, which is actually a wheel that crushes up the agaves to create the agave juices and what they call honey water. Cheers, guys. So Siete Leguas is another huge favorite of Zocalo. Siete Leguas actually means 7 leagues, which is the name of Pancho Villa's horse in the Mexican Revolution. Pancho Villa was a huge hero for the Mexican people back then. Siete Leguas is actually in the highlands. It's in a town called Atotonilco. Did I say that right? Maybe. And something that actually a lot of people don't know is Siete Leguas is actually the first Patron. Patron actually was an off-branch of Siete Leguas and the inspiration to create a different tequila, but Siete Leguas is much better. 3. We love Siete Leguas! Are we still going? Really? So the 1942 actually has a really distinct vanilla flavor, and the reason being is because it actually has a very specific distillation pot that's in the distillery. It's called pot 6. It's so unique that it actually only produces 3 barrels per cycle, which is very small and makes it really limited anywhere. Atononilco. Wait, real quick on the pot 6. Pendejo. Pendejo. I fucking hate doing this. Oh! I don't even know what I'm doing.